Hi, welcome back to Focus Time. We have Thanmozi Sundararajan. Maybe I pronounced right.
It's Tenmori.
Yeah. Thanmori?
Yep.
It's Thanmozi, I think.
No, Tenmori.
Thanmori Sundararajan.
You got it.
Yeah, can I have your introduction?
Sure. So my name is Tenmori Soundarajan, and I'm the Executive Director of Equality Labs. We are a national Dalit Ambedkarite organization that works on the issue of caste equity.
How you got the idea to establish the organization Quality Lab, and how long you been running this organization?
Well, I think one of the things that I think is so important is that we know as caste oppressed Californians and Americans that caste is a serious issue here. And for me, I think as someone who grew up in the state, I experienced caste discrimination myself, but also I went to UC Berkeley during the Lucky Bali Reddy case. So I saw how that man trafficked 300 workers from our community, including 20 young girls who were, his sex slaves.
So where was that?
City of Berkeley. So I think that really came into my mind as something very important. And then, of course, being part of California textbooks, which Ravadasya communities were also a big part of, that is such a pivotal moment where I saw if we do not conduct advocacy, on behalf of our own community, they will make laws, they will erase our history, and they will allow conditions of discrimination. And that's why I felt it was so important. And so I worked with other Dalit leaders that were feminists to help found Equality Labs.
So I heard you're author of Caste Trauma book too?
Yes, I wrote a book called The Trauma of Caste that looks at the history of caste in the United States. It also explains caste for Americans in a way that's easy to understand, and also gives us different ways to understand how we might heal from caste.
So how many people help you to make final that book?
A lot of people. A book always has many different parents that help you along the way. So my publishers definitely. Also, lots of different community folks read the book and gave me support, and of course my family.
So you have stories in there, the people's story about the discrimination?
Yes, definitely. And it's also meant to help Americans understand our issue, because a lot of times they don't understand some of the things that we're saying. So I try to make it really easily accessible for multiple audiences.
So you went personally to those people whose story are in there?
Well, it's not so much about testimonies, but it's about stories that I've experienced or from, my own context. Like, what does caste really mean for us, and how can we heal and get rid of it?
So, if a bill is passed in assembly, how you think it's gonna make a difference in the California community or America?
Well, the vote that we're hearing today is for the assembly, and if it passes this house, we basically have only two more steps: a reconciliation vote in the Senate, and then the governor's desk. So we are two more steps closer to making history, but also the world has heard from Dalit communities in California and across the country. We are being discriminated against significantly in the United States, and we need a remedy to the violence.
So how this bill help to stop discrimination based on caste and in housing, is going in business, housing, and workplaces too?
So what the bill SB403 does is that it basically clarifies existing protections are related to caste. So in the current form of the bill, it adds caste to ancestry, and then it defines caste in both the Civil Rights Code, the Education Code, and the Housing Code. And the reason why we did that is because many of the reports, both quantitative and qualitative, people report that when they bring up the issues of discrimination that they're facing, they are told that caste is not covered. And this is pretty serious because 1 in 4 caste-oppressed people face physical and verbal assault, 1 in 3 educational discrimination, and 2 out of 3 workplace discrimination. That's why it is so important for us to get this bill passed, because any act of discrimination is unlawful and needs to stop.
So I heard that they say it is Hindu phobia. So is it make any effect to any religions, or is it a Hindu phobia?
So this bill is a civil rights bill for everybody. It doesn't target any one community, any one religion. Caste is a globally recognized protected characteristic. In fact, one of the people that worked on the bill is a UN rapporteur on racism and discrimination, and that's because we are a signatory to the UN Convention on Racism and Discrimination that recognizes caste under Article 29. So there is disinformation, and the reality is anytime you have civil rights, you have people who feel uncomfortable with change. But there are ways to handle that. Like we can have forums for reconciliation, because the reality is there are people who with caste privilege who have benefited for a very long time if we don't speak up and we don't address this. And we understand that they have fear, but fear is not the same as severe discrimination, and we need it to stop.
Yeah, I know it's not against any religion, but as per my thinking is the discrimination is like caste is not like the part of religion, is the part of the communities, because every community is the part of different religion, so it will go in all religion as their way.
I think like the way to think about it is it's a system of exclusion. It's not related to one ethnicity or religion. In fact, there are communities that experience caste discrimination all around the world. The Roma people in Europe, the Japanese, the Burakum of the Japanese people. There are also tribal communities in Somalia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, even like Oaxacan communities in Latin America are seeing themselves encasted, as we saw in Fresno. And so I think that it's just very, very important that we understand that this is a civil rights bill. It is okay for people to feel fear, but it's not rooted in lawfulness or even a common understanding by all of the major legal associations in the country, like the American Bar Association, the South Asian Bar Association, the National Asian American Bars, Asian and Pacific Islander Bar Associations. You would not have folks like the California Employment Lawyers Association and the 18 other folks and lawyers groups that supported this bill if it was unlawful. But what you do have is disinformation and political violence against caste-suppressed people that are coming forward on this issue, and that's what we need to stop. I think they're leaving right now.
All right, thank you. This will make any difference in the community when it gets passed in the assembly and when it becomes a law in California? How you see it can make a difference in the community?
Definitely. I see the fact that caste would be, there in the law clearly, explicitly, would make it much less difficult for our communities to speak about caste-based discrimination in our workplaces, in schools, in housing. When we just go into a situation and we can't talk about caste and the impact it's having on our lives for what it is, it's very challenging to have the opportunity to express what we're going through with any of our colleagues or institutions of employment. Nothing. I'm so incredibly inspired by somebody who I consider both my role model and friend, Dhanmori Sundarajan. I'm so incredibly inspired by her leadership and her vision for our community, for this struggle. I'm just incredibly inspired, and that's really, like, when I see her dedication towards our people and the movement, it inspires me to work hard and do whatever I can, and I don't think I've really done enough. There's much more for us to do, and I'm not really a camera person, that's all.
Okay, so you have any experience of facing discrimination on the basis of caste in California?
Yeah, well, I mean, growing up, basically in the middle of nowhere. I faced caste-based discrimination for all 4 years of high school, and
Over here?
yeah, and it made my life miserable. And I never really had a way to speak to anybody in my high school or anyone that could address that issue about it because they couldn't understand it. They just saw brown girls, they thought it was just like some internal drama, but it wasn't. It was really serious, and it really had a impact on me. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah.
So, as this bill is in the final steps of being processed, it's in the assembly right now. So, how you feel about that?
I'm so grateful to God Almighty. God is the greatest. I am infinitely grateful to God for allowing us to see this day. To even approach this day is tremendous. Historically, our communities, our ancestors have been relentlessly trying to have the issues that we face heard, and so this is a very exciting day. It's an emotional day, and it's a day full of happiness, and I'm proud of all of our communities, all of our caste-oppressed communities. I'm proud of all of us for everything we've done together. It's been
So, you think it will be passed today?
God willing, it will be. It will be. Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you very much. Time. I'm Pawan Kumar. We have Nana from Bakersfield. She's here to support SB403 bill. Hi Nana, how are you?
I'm good.
So why you are here?
To support SB403.
So I mostly see your dad is here, Nirmal, Dr. Nirmal. Why he's not here today?
He's taking care of my little sister,
Okay, how is the baby?
Noor. And she's good.
She's good? All right. So, you know anything about SB403 bill?
Yes, it's to stop caste discrimination.
So, you know what is that? What is caste?
Caste is when people treat people not equally.
Equally on a basis of what? Like, how you can define, you know about the caste?
Yes, it's when you treat someone unequal and they try to treat you equal. So people used to have slaves.
Wow, you know a lot better. Some people doesn't know that. So is still exist in America? You think that?
Yes,
How it exist here?
it exists in many places.
Which places like?
Africa, Asia.
No, like where in temples, in workplaces, where like in public
Temples.
places.
In temples.
You heard about the people handle in workplaces too.
Yes.
So you were saying in the other countries too. So which country you saying that?
Asia, Africa, India, and that's it.
That's it. But still, you as your age, you know more than your age. So that's good. So you can have about Jess today.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I forgot your name again.
Nana.
Oh, Nana. Thank you.